welcome to another episode of Fridays with Fawn. I'm Fawn Lopez, publisher of Modern Healthcare and Vice President of Crane Communications. Joining me today is Deb Visconi, President and Chief Executive Officer of Bergen Newbridge Medical Center, a safety net located in Bergen County, New Jersey. Deb, it's wonderful to see you today, and congratulations on being named on Modern Healthcare's top 25 women leaders in healthcare's list for 2022.
Thank you, Fawn, for having me, and it's a true honor and a privilege to be here with you today. And thank you for the kind commentary on being recognized as a Modern Healthcare top 25. It's really an honor.
Well, the honor is ours. So thank you for joining us today. So let's get started, shall we?
Sure.
Deb, you started your healthcare career as a lab technologist before moving into the executive roles you've held for more than 30 years. What motivated you to pursue a career in healthcare and then move into administration once you were there?
So actually, Fawn, thank you for asking that question. I started my career as a phlebotomist before I even became a medical technologist. So my very first job in the healthcare industry was as a phlebotomist doing the early morning blood draws, and then continued on to be a medical lab technologist. I always had it in me to want to take care of other individuals. Having grown up in a socially deprived household with lots of access issues around us in healthcare. I was really always motivated to take care of others and to support other individuals. And I had a passion for helping communities. My mother wanted me to be a nurse. And instead of being a nurse, I did choose the medical laboratory field, which got me into healthcare, but in a different way, science-based, the technology field. So I did spend the first early part of my career as a phlebotomist and then a technologist working in the microbiology labs. And once I got into the field and I started working on the bench, I really wanted to have an impact, a greater impact onto the healthcare environment. And I really wanted to pursue doing greater things. I knew that I wanted to have a greater impact on the largest number of people that I could affect. And I remember having early mentors in the laboratory field that encouraged me to pursue a higher degree and to get my master's degree in healthcare administration. And, I went on and I got my master's degree in health administration. And then from that point on, I was armed to take on the world and really continue to make a contribution to healthcare community.
Well, thank you for that. And, speaking of the laboratory sector is such an important sector in the healthcare community today, especially with COVID. Since you assumed your role in 2017, you've transformed Bergen Newbridge Medical Center into an award-winning nonprofit community hospital and expanded programs and services there. You enhanced provider relations and improved quality, safety, and the patient experience. What do you consider your greatest accomplishments so far?
Wow. I would say my greatest accomplishment is being able to open up access to care delivery and care to our communities where this particular community, this safety net community, did not always have access to. It was identifying opportunities where we can either recruit providers or signing contracts with all of the managed care, all the commercial payers in the state of New Jersey, assuring that at Bergen Newbridge, we can take care of 99.8% of the residents of New Jersey by securing those commercial contracts and managed care contracts. So for me, the accomplishment was greater access to the greater Bergen County community.
So I also understand that you started at Bergen Newbridge. When you started, you launched Dine with Deb meetings and town halls with your staff, and you offered the staff email accounts for the first time and establish employee appreciation and recognition activities.
Yes.
How have you seen the culture shift since that time?
Oh, it's been like night and day. When I first set foot here in October of 2017, the staff's voices were not heard. They didn't have a forum or a venue by which they can raise their issues, concerns, ideas to senior management. And, for me, being really, I grew up in the healthcare industry. I have a grassroots career. And so understanding what it's like to be on the front lines and not have a voice, I know how frustrating that can be. And, the best work we do is by listening to the voices of our employees. And so we basically turned it around. We gave them venues, whether it was Dine with Debbie, where people can come, have lunch with me or have breakfast with me and talk about ways that we can improve the hospital, or whether it was email communications, town forums, open door policy, rounds with senior leadership. My senior team and I are always up on the floors, on the units, talking to our staff, understanding what their needs are, responding to their needs. It was beyond that. It's really putting actions to words. We didn't just say the word. We actually created processes and program improvements and really just lifted the entire, 2,200 employees that we have here, our medical staff, our frontline staff, all of our employees really felt once we came here that their voices were heard and respected, and we followed up on the things that we made commitments to.
That is so important, right? And I would say that you have a heightened sense of empathy, which is one of the most important traits in a leader. So good for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So you have prioritized underserved and minority community outreach and access during your tenure at Bergen Newbridge. You have developed Northern New Jersey's first LGBTQ wellness center and became a leader, a veterans community care provider. How have initiatives like these helped create greater health equity across New Jersey?
It's my strategy and my vision to be able to provide care right directly into the communities that we serve and those that need it. And so by us being able to expand those programs, whether it be LGBTQ or veterans, or we worked with the Lenape Nation up in Mawa Mountains here and to bring them healthcare to their communities. That's been my vision all along, is to be able to provide that access. And it has allowed us to really understand those needs and be able to bring that care delivery right into the community, and really has allowed those individuals to access quality health care right in their community. And if they need to come to a hospital, obviously we have the access here on site. We've done it through mobile vans. We've done it through partnerships with our faith communities and other leaders in the county. And so it really has allowed access to populations and communities that otherwise would not have received it.
That's great. So, throughout your career, you've demonstrated a willingness to challenge accepted norms if you believed your patients would benefit. So, for example, at Morristown Medical Center, you initiated a 24-hour visitation policy that increased patient satisfaction without increasing negative impacts. How do you secure buy in for innovation or innovative ideas like that?
It's about communication, it's about transparency, and it's about establishing trust. And it's what I said earlier, putting actions to your words, delivering on what you say. With the medical staff, with the frontline staff, it's talking to them on a regular basis, getting them to understand the bigger picture, the strategy that we're trying to execute on. And so for my success in being able to implement different types of innovation has really been about communication with all the involved stakeholders. We are an environment where there are 7 unions under one roof. And so I tend to work directly with the union leadership to let them know the things we're doing and get their buy-in early on. And, let's have a conversation. This is what we're trying to accomplish. This is the big picture. We're trying to maintain a sustainable healthcare organization to continue into the future. And so that people really understand what we're trying to accomplish and why.
And that's great. And you mentioned trust as one of the important factors or foundations. How do you build trust in that kind of environment? How do you establish or build trust there?
Talking to people, um, showing them that what I say, I mean, uh, coming to meetings, coming to open forums, being honest with people. People re- respond to that type of leadership when they see that your leader is sincere in what they're saying, and that there's deliverables that they can then look at and say, wow, our CEO said this and she's delivered on it. And we started small, little changes here and there.
Mhm.
And people just saw that we were sincere in our approach and what we wanted to do. And it resonated with them, and they were inspired by that.
Well, thank you for sharing that. So I'd love to know what keeps you up at night, and more importantly, what gets you up in the morning.
So my clock goes off at 4:30 a.m. every morning without fail.
Wow.
And I can't wait for my feet to touch the ground and get started. I love everything that I do every single day of my life. You know what they say: if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. I've never worked a day in my life. I am motivated by being able to make change, and so it is incredibly gratifying to be able to come here and live that. This is my calling. And so every day I get up and I look, people say, oh, it's Monday. And I'm like, I love Mondays. It's a new week and I can't wait to get started. So it's energizing to be able to have an impact to the broader community that we serve. And what keeps me up at night is the same thing, all the exciting things that I have planned to do.
Yeah.
But seriously, besides that, we are a safety net, and finances are always fragile for safety net hospitals. Funding sources and reimbursement and charity care and all those types of things certainly are always a worry and always top of mind. So we're always looking at ways of how we can diversify our portfolio, grow our services, and so those types of things keep me up at night.
So the next week when Monday comes around, I'm going to think of you. So what's one thing you wish someone told you early in your career?
How what a responsibility it is to be a leader. That it's not just about, in fact, it's not about you. It's about everybody else, and the responsibility that weighs on your shoulders when you lead a group of people, no matter how big or small they are. And what a responsibility that is. And you really should not look at your own career advancements as much as those of others, because the impact that you make is on the impact you make on others. And that drives your career and that helps your success.
Wow, that's awesome. And it just makes me feel so good that you're on our list of the top 25 women leaders in healthcare for 2022.
Thank you.
Thank you for your leadership.
Thank you.
So, what would you be your advice for women, especially women of color, who are preparing for their next step into an executive position in healthcare?
Be courageous. Don't take no for an answer. Um, follow your heart and, keep at it. Sometimes it seems like, it's going to take you a long time to get where you want to get. But really just be courageous and, keep at it. Seek others that want to help you in your career. Seek out mentors, seek out sponsors, apply for that job, even if you don't think you're qualified. Throw your hat in the ring each time that you think you want to do something. I think many times we tend to say, well, I'm not good enough for that, or I don't have enough experience, or, the job description says this, but I don't have that. Just throw your hat in the ring, give it a try, meet people, talk to people. That's the only way that you're going to really get out there and become known and become recognized. It took me a long time to get to that point. I have to be honest with you.
Yeah. We all have to learn it, right? So, but what you said about everything you said resonated with me, but also never give up. It's so important.
Yep.
Resilience is such an important trait, and it has carried me through life and challenging times. So thank you for your great tips.
Thank you.
I'm curious, Deb, about your perspective on how women support other women within their organizations, and as well, what are some of the best ways that leaders can support other leaders?
I think what I found to be helpful, and certainly, every day you learn more different ways to help others. It's about being there for your colleagues. It's about, sharing, about remembering that it's beyond just what happens in the workplace, but reaching out to people and understanding what's happening in their personal life. Well, I sit there with them and I talk it through, and I help them get through the moment, and I support them. It's about being empathetic. It's about being supportive. It's about being nurturing and caring, and being there for the whole individual, not just as an employer or as a colleague, but being there for the whole individual and getting to recognize and understand what happens in people's personal lives, and showing that sincere caring and empathy to help people feel comfortable and get through the moment.
Thank you for that. Is there anyone who you credit with helping you get to where you are today?
My mother. My mother has always encouraged all of us. I'm the oldest of three girls, and my mother had always said to us, get your education, go to school, advance your careers and your lives, so you could be the best that you can be to contribute to society. And she really has been my driving force my whole life to get to, the courage, and to get to never taking no for an answer, and to going after what you want to accomplish. Having been raised again in an underserved family where we didn't have money for college, we had to pay our way, and I worked as soon as I could get my working papers to support myself and get myself through college. Nothing stopped us, or me or my sisters, from advancing our lives. So I give great credit to my mother, Iris.
She sounds like my father, who gave me very similar advice. So good for you. Congratulations. We have good parents. So
Thank you.
Anyway, well, Deb, it has truly been a pleasure and an honor to talk with you today. And thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be with us on this episode of Fridays with Fawn.
Well, the honor and privilege is mine. Thank you very much. And I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today. As always, I look forward to seeing you on the next Fridays with Fawn. Goodbye.